going on, guys? Nando here for the final review, the final take, the puts it all together video for the OnePlus 5. If you're new to my channel, guys, consider subscribing. If you've watched my last video on the OnePlus 5 and you're here, I appreciate you guys following through and watching this little mini series. This is the final review. This is likes and dislikes for the OnePlus 5. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if you're new to this channel, this is what I do. I make a little series for every product that I review. I discuss battery life. I discuss things that I think you should consider. And I finish it off by talking about the good and the bad about the device. And in this case, I'm going to be doing that for the OnePlus 5. That's right in front of me. I'm going to start off by saying this because I'm going to cut right to the chase. Great thing about this phone, battery life. Fantastic thing about this phone, battery life. This phone's battery life is great. This phone's charging speed is phenomenal. And if that's something that you geek out about, if that's something that you guys get excited about, something that you guys constantly monitoring like I am and myself, then you don't have to worry about that anymore if you own the OnePlus 5 because it's that good. If you haven't watched my previous video, check it out because I discuss the battery life in it in more depth. I show screenshots. You can expect over 7 hours of screen on time with this phone, and you can expect some incredible charge speed with this phone. I'm talking maybe 10 minutes you'll go 0 to 25, that type of speed. It's dash charging is a dash. It's Usain Bolt style fast. So definitely not a gimmick. Something that it really works. Now another thing that I've loved about this phone in my time of using it is the fact that this phone brings together a simple hardware experience, nothing fantastic, nothing spectacular, just basic, simple, decent looking phone, but lets the software shine. So what I get excited about when I talk about things like that is the fact that I'm not going to look at this phone and go, wow, that's amazing. There's no edges that stand out. There's no squeezability. There's nothing about this phone that you want to show somebody in terms of the hardware department and let that speak for itself. This is a phone that stays out of the way. This is a phone that just blends in. This is a phone that when held feels good in hand. It's not feeling cheap. It's not going to look cheap. Some say it even looks like an iPhone 7 Plus, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But once you use this phone, okay, once you use this phone and its software experience, then you go, wow, okay, I see what OnePlus is doing here. They're letting the software shine. They're letting the software speak for itself. And when I say that, I say that this is a basically stock Android experience with useful functionality added to it, with things that actually bring added bonus to the use, that actually, supplement the use, that actually enhance the use, whatever word you want to use. What OnePlus does with their software is fantastic. You don't think there's features there that you would use, and then when you give them a try, when you do a 3-finger swipe down to kind of get a screenshot, when you toggle, features, when you draw on the phone to launch things, those are great features. Those are things that work well, stay out of the way, and don't bog down your experience, because this phone also has 6 gigabytes of RAM, which is phenomenal. You probably don't need them all, because a phone like this and a phone that has this type of stock Android feel, you definitely don't need 6 gigabytes of RAM. But the fact that they give it to you shows that OnePlus is all in on the software experience, all in on what they think that most average users want, which is a phone that just works well, plays their games, multitasks well, and doesn't lag. And so far, in over 2.5 weeks of using this phone, it hasn't lagged. It hasn't made me have to worry about what apps I have ran in the background. And that's great. That's great, because those are things that I have to do when I'm using a Galaxy phone. Those are things that I have to do when I'm using an LG phone, HTC phone, and I don't have to do it with the OnePlus. Now, not everything is rosy, not everything is peachy, not everything is fantastic about this phone. Like all devices, nothing is perfect. And like I said, this phone doesn't have a fantastic build quality, right? It's just fine. It's there. It's out of the way. It does have a good, build quality. Like, the material used are good, but the design is absolutely boring. To me, it's almost like they made the build an afterthought. I mean, before this phone was announced, I watched the videos and I read the reviews and the interviews of the people that were talking, and they focused so much on this camera up here that I feel like the body of the phone was kind of an afterthought. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section below. If you agree, let me know in the comment section below, but that's my opinion. I think that this body became an afterthought after they focused on the software, after they focused that they were going to go with 6 gigabytes of RAM, after they went with this, camera system. I felt like OnePlus team said, well, now we got to just figure out a way to put it in, and this body became an afterthought, because I actually appreciate and enjoyed the previous model's body a little more than this one. Even though this one feels a little thinner, feels a little more hefty in hand, I think they could have done a better job. I think they could have done something that was going to wow us a little more, maybe reduced the bezel, since that's the trend. So I'm going to put that as a dislike, honestly, because it is a boring hardware experience. Yes, coupled with the software, it brings it all together. But in terms of looks, when you put this phone down, when you look at this phone and look at your friend's phone and this, that, and the other, like, this phone isn't going to make someone go, hey, what phone is that? I mean, they might go, hey, what phone is that, because they don't know what this is and they've never heard of OnePlus. But they're not going to go, hey, what kind of phone is that? That's awesome. That's so cool. No, they're not going to do that with the OnePlus. So yeah, I don't care for that. The other thing I don't care for is the camera. Now, not because I hate it, not because I honestly dislike it, but I don't like the fact that this camera isn't as good as they hyped it to be. It's a decent camera. I think it falls short to the likes of LG G6, HTC U11, Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, iPhone 7. It's a serviceable camera. It's a camera that, in my opinion, introduces a lot of noise. I'm not one that talks about cameras in detail, but this one stood out to me a little bit on the negative side. I don't like their take of the depth effect. I think Apple does it much better. So that's just my opinion. I don't care for the way they kind of make that happen. I don't think their pictures are sharp enough. I think that this camera needs better lighting for it to take great pictures, and those are things that have stood out to me. And because they've stood out to me, I've got to mention it to you guys, because like I said, I don't like to talk about cameras and video experiences that much. I'm an average user. I'm a tech cat. I'm a geek. I love smartphones, but this camera right here hasn't been the most exciting camera. That's my opinion, and therefore I'm gonna kind of put it on the negative side of things for you guys to know, because I'm sure that if you're watching this video, you've watched countless other ones, and you're going to watch countless other ones after this, and you're going to decide, hey, overall, what do I think, right? So I don't have to explain that to you. But other dislike about this phone, I don't care for the the bezels. I don't. I think they do a really good job of reducing the side-to-side bezels. I think for a 5.5-inch phone, this phone, could be more pocketable, like the LG G6. It's a big phone. It might even be a little wider, a little bigger than like the HTC U11. I've used the iPhone 7 Plus for about a year now, and I hate just carrying that big, massive slab around because of so much wasted space. And I think that OnePlus does that as well. Another thing that I should mention, okay, fingerprint sensor on this phone is fantastic. You see that, like double tapping the home button turns off the phone, and I mean it is. Check this out. I mean it is fast. So I'm gonna give them super props for that, because the fingerprint sensor, scanner, whatever you want to call it, on the OnePlus 5 is super fast. Possibly the fastest fingerprint scanner on par, at least on par, maybe faster, maybe slower. I don't know, but compared to the iPhone 7 Plus. The 7 Plus is a fantastic fingerprint scanner. This is another fantastic fingerprint scanner, and little things like that. Double tap the home button, right? Because this is this isn't a physical button. This is a capacitive button, and the fact that it works that well every single time is a testament to how fantastic the software experience on this phone is. So yeah, that pretty much on my end summarizes everything about this phone. Speaker wise, they only have one. I wish they had put another one. It at least gets loud. There's other phones out there that are nowhere as loud as the OnePlus 5. LG G6 isn't as loud. The Galaxy S8 isn't as loud. So yay for that. I mean, they still keep the headphone jack. So if you're into that stuff, you have it. Yes, it is USB-C. So yay for that. Oh, and another thing, I like to mention little things like this because to me, they really, really stand out. This phone comes with a tempered glass screen protector already installed. And you don't see that a lot. You don't see that in today's flagship phone. You know, you get a phone and usually what you have to do is what? Go on Amazon, go to the store, order yourself a case or 2 or 3 and several screen protectors, some tempered, some not, because some work better than others. And OnePlus already pre-installs a tempered glass screen protector on their phone, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to stress out about that. You know, you're pulling this phone out of the box and you're ready to go. And I truly, truly appreciate that, man. If somebody from OnePlus is listening or watching this video, which highly doubt that's the case for a small channel like me or like myself, but hey, I love it. Thank you so much for doing things like that because I'm tired of stressing out about fingerprints, tired of stressing out about scratches and things like that. This phone comes with a tempered glass screen protector, and that's a big win. That's something that I appreciate, and I think that every user does. And if you hate it, you peel it back. So I'd rather have it and not use it than not have it and want it and desire it. And you get how that works. If you guys have any questions, any comments, let me know in the section below. You know how that works. If you haven't subscribed, do so because after this video, I'm going to be doing a big showdown between this phone, the LG G6, the HTC U11, and the Galaxy S8. There's going to be a lot of rambling, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that maybe you guys will only need to watch one video to get a good understanding of what phone is best for you. And I don't want you to miss out on that, so please subscribe. And thumbs up the video. Like always, guys, it was Nando. I'm done with this video. I'm getting ready for the next. Peace, salud, and stay geeky like always. Bye.